The flames were already eating the roof by the time anyone noticed. It was 2:17 a.m. when neighbors woke to the sound of shattering glass, a woman screaming, and a little boy's voice echoing inside a burning house. But inside that house, 10-year-old Aidan Vale wasn't screaming anymore. Smoke clung to his eyelashes. Heat stung the back of his neck. The living room ceiling groaned, bending, cracking. Aidan! His mother's voice cut through the fire. Panic. But Aidan couldn't see her through the smoke. "Mom," he cried, coughing so hard his chest burned. "I'm here." He heard footsteps, fast, desperate. Then another explosion upstairs sent sparks raining down over him. He curled into a ball. His lungs screamed for air. "Mom," he tried one last time. There was no answer. Only flames. And the sound of the front door slamming shut. The last thing Aidan saw before blacking out was a silhouette. His mother, running out of the house. Without him. 2 hours later. Fire trucks circled the street. Drifted like snow. Neighbors whispered behind taped-off barriers. Detective Calder approached the woman wrapped in a blanket, face streaked with tears. "Ms. Vale, we did everything we could." She stared at him with empty eyes. Did we find him?" she whispered. Calder swallowed hard. "No remains yet. But based on the temperature of the fire, the collapse, and where he was last seen." He hesitated. "No child could survive that." Her lip trembled. She shook her head slowly, whispering, "My baby, my baby." Calder placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "I'm sorry. Your son is presumed deceased." What no one knew. A mile away, a truck sped through the dark woods. The driver glanced in the rearview mirror. Aidan, half conscious, covered in soot, shivering, lay in the back seat. His breathing was shallow. His eyes barely open. "You're okay," the driver muttered. "Just stay with me, kid." Aidan tried to speak, but only a broken whisper came out. "Mom left me." The man's jaw tightened. He didn't answer. He already knew the truth. 10 years later, cameras flashed. Chandeliers glittered. At the Vale Global Charity Gala, people in expensive suits clapped as Miranda Vale, founder of the Aidan Vale Foundation for Burn Victims, stepped onto the stage. She wore diamonds now. Custom gown. Perfect smile. "Tonight," she told the audience, "we remember my son who died tragically in a house fire. His memory drives everything I do." Thunderous applause. But across the ballroom, hidden in the crowd, a young man stood still, watching her. Expression calm. Is cold. He was 20 now. Sharp-featured. Alive. He whispered her name under his breath. "Miranda." She didn't hear him. Didn't see him. Didn't know her son, the boy she left in a burning house for dead, had returned. And tonight was only the beginning. In 7 days, he would tear her empire apart, piece by piece. Starting with the truth. She never intended to save him. She started the fire. Aidan woke to the sound of rain tapping a metal roof. His eyes fluttered open. A dim light bulb buzzed overhead. Old wooden walls. A smell of gasoline and damp clothes. He wasn't dead. He was in a stranger's garage. A rough, tired-looking man sat beside him, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor like he hadn't slept in days. When he noticed Aidan waking, he straightened. "You're safe," the man said quietly. Aidan's throat cracked as he spoke. "Why did you take me?" The man hesitated. "I didn't take you, kid. I pulled you out." Aidan blinked, confused. "What?" The man rubbed his face with both hands. "I'm Rhett Macon. Your neighbor, but not the kind anyone notices. I was on my porch when the fire started. Thought I heard screaming. I ran over, tried the door. And your mom ran right past me." Intensed. Rhett nodded slowly. She didn't look back. Silence swallowed the room. Aidan stared at the blanket covering his legs. His voice shook. She wouldn't leave me. She wouldn't." Rhett didn't argue. Didn't push. Just said softly. Sometimes people ain't who we think they are. The secret conversation. 2 days later, Rhett stood outside his garage speaking on the phone in a low voice. Aiden, still weak, peeked through a crack in the door. He heard everything. "No, I haven't told the cops," Rhett said. "Because if they know the boy's alive, she'll come looking." Yeah. "I'm sure she meant for him to die." Another pause. "No, I'm not turning him in. Not yet." Aiden's heart thudded. His mother meant for him to die. He backed away, legs shaking. The blanket slipped off his lap. He stared at his hands. Blackened. Burn mark. Teared. Everything he thought he knew shattered. Why Rhett didn't call the cops. That night, he sat beside Aiden again. "You heard me earlier, didn't you?" Rhett asked quietly. Aiden didn't respond. Rhett nodded like he expected that. "I know this is hard. But the fire. Aiden, it wasn't an accident. Gasoline was poured in 3 rooms and a fuse line ran to a kitchen timer." Aiden felt his stomach twist. "You're saying she—" "Yes," Rhett said gently. "Your mom planned it." Aiden shook his head violently. "No. She loves me." Rhett sighed deeply. "Then why did she lock the front door before she ran out?" Aiden froze. The memory hit him. He did try the door. It was locked. He thought the fire melted it shut. But no. She locked it. His mother locked him inside. Aiden curled into himself, trembling. Rhett placed a quiet hand on his shoulder. "I know this hurts. But if I tell the police you're alive, she'll spin a story. She's rich, powerful. She'll win." Aiden whispered. "Then what do we do?" Rhett's eyes hardened. "We make a plan. But first, you need a new name. The new life." A week later, Aiden Vale disappeared forever. In his place, a boy named Aiden Rivers was registered for school 2 towns away. Rhett paid for everything. Fake documents, clothes, food, with money he could barely afford. He worked double shifts, sold tools, went without meals some nights. And every night, Aiden would hear him cough from the living room couch, exhausted. Rhett wasn't a perfect man, but he tried. He tried harder than Aiden's real mother ever did. Aiden once asked him, "Why are you helping me?" Rhett swallowed hard. "Because I lost my own son in a fire years ago. And I couldn't save him. But I could save you." Aiden didn't know what to say. So he just nodded. And whispered, "Thank you." The truth about Miranda. Meanwhile, Miranda Vale, the mother who reported him dead, was rising in power. Her charity grew. Her money doubled. Her name became global. People called her the angel of fire victims. She gave speeches about honoring her son's memory. She built a billion-dollar brand on the ashes of the boy she tried to kill. Aiden watched her on TV for years. Every time his jaw tightened, his hands shook, he would whisper, "You won't get away with it." The promise. On his 18th birthday, Rhett placed a box on the table. Inside was Aiden's original birth bracelet from the hospital. Rhett had found it in the burned ruins. "You'll need this," he said. "Someday when you face her." Aiden looked up. "When?" Rhett's eyes hardened. "When you're strong enough to destroy everything she built." Aiden nodded once. "I'm ready." Rhett shook his head. "No, you will be. But not yet." Aiden clenched his fists. "Then I swear. One day, I'll walk into her perfect life and make her see me." Rhett's voice softened. "Not see you, son." He placed a hand on Aiden's shoulder. "Fear you." 10 years after the fire, Aiden Rivers, now 20, walked into the Vale Global Charity Gala as an employee. Fake name, forged ID, and a purpose. He stood 20 feet from the woman who left him to burn. She didn't recognize him. Of course she didn't. People don't recognize ghosts. But Aiden remembered everything. Her voice, her perfume, her footsteps walking out of the fire. He watched her smile on stage. Watched her accept praise. Watched her bask in glory built on his death. Then he whispered, "7 days, Miranda." In 7 days, I take you back to the fire. Aiden didn't join Vale Global through luck. He spent 2 years planning it. He studied Miranda's business, her routines, her weaknesses. He learned who she trusted, who she ignored, and who she stepped on to climb higher. And he learned one thing fast. People who build empires on lies always leave cracks. Aiden just had to find them. He entered her company under the name Aiden Rivers. A low-level analyst. Invisible. Forgettable. Perfect. Every day, he walked past giant posters of Miranda smiling with burn victims. Every day, her voice played in the lobby videos talking about her son's memory. Every day, Aiden clenched his jaw and whispered to himself, "Not for long." His first week in the building, he found his first clue. A locked archive room on the 14th floor. Restricted access. Only executives allowed. So why did Miranda visit it every Wednesday at 10 a.m.? What was she hiding there? Aiden watched her through the security glass. She looked calm, elegant, polished. Nothing like the woman who ran from a burning house. But her eyes scanned the hallway every time. Paranoid. Uneasy. Like she feared someone would find something. Aiden started digging. He made friends with one person, an IT assistant named Lyle. Nerdy. Nervous. Easy to manipulate. One afternoon Aiden asked casually, "What's on the 14th floor?" "That archive room." Lyle froze. "Oh, that. Nobody goes in there. Not even staff." "Why?" Aiden asked. Lyle whispered. "Because whatever's inside, Miranda ordered it sealed for 20 years. Aiden's heartbeat changed. 20 years, he asked. "Why that long?" Lyle shrugged. "No idea. But everyone in the company calls it the ghost room." Aiden went silent. Ghost room. Perfect name. That night, Aiden stayed after hours. Walked up to the 14th floor. The hallway was empty, lights dim, security cameras old and flickering. He stood in front of the door and whispered, "Open." But it didn't. He tried picking the lock. No use. The door needed a biometric scan. Fingerprint. Maybe retina. He wasn't getting inside tonight. As he turned to leave, he saw something on the wall. Framed plaque. Reserved in memory of Aiden Vale. Gone but never forgotten. He stared at it for a long moment. His own name. His fake death. His mother's lie carved into a golden plate. He touched the plaque and whispered, "You should have let me burn, Miranda. Now I'm back." Then he left. The next morning something unexpected happened. Meeting. Mandatory. All staff. Miranda was visiting the office personally. People panicked, fixing their desks, straightening their ties, acting like a queen was coming. Aiden stood in the back, silent. Then she walked in. Miranda Vale. Perfect hair. Perfect smile. Perfect lie. Her security team surrounded her. Executives bowed their heads. But Miranda froze for half a second. Her eyes swept across the crowd. And when they landed on Aiden, she blinked. Just once. Confused. Uncomfortable. Like her mind whispered something she didn't want to hear. Aiden didn't look away. He wanted her to feel that spark of recognition. That itch in the back of her mind. She stared too long. People noticed. Her assistant whispered, "Ms. Vale, are you okay?" Miranda snapped back to reality and nodded. "Yes. Continue." But her hands were shaking. Why? Because the last time she saw Aiden's face, it was glowing orange with firelight while she walked away and left him to die. Now, without knowing why, she felt him standing in her company, breathing the same air, watching her, judging her. Miranda didn't know who Aiden Rivers was. But something inside her whispered, "Danger." Aiden didn't expect Miranda to notice him so fast. He thought he'd stay invisible for weeks. But that one moment in the meeting changed everything. Because the very next day, Miranda ordered a full background check on every new hire. Not normal. Not routine. She was looking for something. Or someone. And he had to move faster. To bring her down, he needed proof, real proof, not just memories of fire and betrayal. And that proof was somewhere inside the ghost room on the 14th floor. For 3 days straight, Miranda visited that room and stayed inside for 20 minutes. Always alone. Always nervous. Aiden spent those 3 days preparing. He copied employee fingerprints. Watched guard rotations. Tracked when cameras glitched. Mapped blind spots in the hallway. He didn't sleep much. Didn't eat much. Rhett used to tell him, when a wolf plans revenge, he doesn't rest. He watches. Aiden was watching now. On the 4th night he made his move. The building was nearly empty. Only security guards on rotation. Most floors dark. Aiden walked calmly to the 14th floor, swiped a stolen badge, and slipped inside the hallway. Quiet. Cold. Ill. The ghost room stood at the end. He put the fingerprint sticker on the scanner. The machine blinked red. Access denied. He tried again. Access denied. Aiden cursed under his breath. He didn't have Miranda's fingerprint. But as he backed away, something unexpected happened. A voice behind him. "What are you doing here?" Aiden turned slowly. It was Irene Vale, Miranda's younger sister, vice president of the charity. A woman who always wore black and spoke softly. Aiden stayed calm. "I'm new. Got lost." She studied him with sharp eyes. "You shouldn't be on this floor." "I know. I'm sorry." She stepped closer. "Too close." "What's your name?" "Aiden Rivers." For a split second. Just one. Her expression changed. Fear. Recognition. Shock. Aiden couldn't tell. Irene whispered, "Leave this floor. And do not come back. For your own safety." Her voice wasn't a threat. It was a warning. A real one. Aiden nodded slowly and walked away. But in his mind, everything clicked. Irene knew something. Irene feared something. Irene wasn't afraid for herself. She was afraid for him. Back home that night, Aiden called Rhett. The older man answered on the 3rd ring. "You okay, kid?" "No," Aiden said. "Something's happening." He explained everything. The background checks, Miranda's stare, Irene's warning. Rhett was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Aiden, listen carefully. No matter what, never stand alone with Miranda. Never speak to her alone. Never let her corner you." "Why?" Aiden whispered. Rhett exhaled. "Because she doesn't need fire this time. You're an adult now. She has other ways to make people disappear." Aiden clenched his fists. "I'm not a scared kid anymore." Rhett's voice softened. "You don't need to be scared. You need to be smart." Aiden ended the call and stared out the window at the city lights. Miranda felt him. Irene sensed him. The walls were tightening. He whispered to himself, "Good. Let them feel it. The ghost is getting closer." And tomorrow, he would make his second move. Aiden didn't sleep that night. He couldn't. Irene's warning kept replaying in his head. "Do not come back to this floor. For your own safety." People don't warn strangers for no reason. Especially not in Miranda Vale's empire. The next morning, Aiden made a decision. If Miranda was tightening security, if Irene was scared, if the ghost room was sealed, then something inside that room had the power to destroy everything Miranda built. Aiden needed one thing. Not a real key. A digital one. Every executive at Vale Global carried a wristband with micro-access chips. One wristband equals access to their assigned floors. The ghost room wasn't Irene's floor. Wasn't any VP's floor. But one person visited it weekly. Miranda. Her wristband carried the master access code. And Aiden knew exactly how to copy it. He waited until lunchtime. Executives crowded the cafeteria. Miranda sat at her private table, surrounded by people flattering her, pretending to adore her. Aiden moved through the lunch line like everyone else. Invisible. Normal. He positioned himself behind a catering employee. When Miranda stood to leave, 2 security guards followed her. Perfect. She had to walk past the drink station. Aiden stepped forward at the same moment she did. Her wrist brushed his arm. Just a light touch. Aiden whispered, "Sorry," and stepped back. She nodded politely, didn't recognize him, and walked away. She didn't notice the tiny scanner hidden inside his sleeve. The device beeped once. Access code copied. Aiden felt his pulse in his throat. It worked. He now had enough access to enter her floor. But he still needed the room code. For that, he needed a distraction. At 7 p.m., when most employees left, Aiden set his plan into motion. He called the front desk pretending to be an IT technician. Camera malfunction detected on 14th floor. Please send a guard to manually check. The guard left his station. Perfect. Aiden moved fast. He took the elevator to the 14th floor, swiped Miranda's copied access code, and stepped into the hallway. The air was cold, silent. He approached the ghost room door, placed his wrist near the scanner. Nothing. The scanner blinked red, then yellow. Access granted. The lock clicked. The door slid open. Aiden stepped into darkness. The room was small, cold. Walls lined with old filing cabinets and electronic boxes covered in dust. But one cabinet was brand new. Marked with a single label. Veil, personal. Aiden's breath caught. He opened the drawer. Inside were exactly 3 items. A burned photograph. A sealed envelope. A fire investigation report. His hands shook as he picked up the photograph. It showed Miranda holding a young Aiden. Not smiling. Not happy. Barely looking at him. Her hand on his shoulder looked tense. Fingers stiff like she didn't want to touch him. Aiden swallowed hard. He opened the envelope next. Inside was a document. One sentence made his stomach drop. Legal beneficiary. Miranda Vale to receive full life insurance payout upon death of minor Aiden Vale. Signed 2 months before the fire. Month. She planned it long before the fire happened. Aiden felt something inside him break. His chest tightened. His hands curled into fists. But he forced himself to open the investigation report. He expected lies. But what he read changed everything. The report showed the fire wasn't just planned. It wasn't just one fuse line. It wasn't just gasoline. There were 2 ignition points. One downstairs. One upstairs. 2 people set the fire. Not one. Aiden whispered. Who helped her? A voice from behind him answered. I did. Aiden spun around. Standing in the doorway was Irene, her face pale, her eyes full of regret. She whispered, "You shouldn't have come here, Aiden." He froze. His heart pounded. She knew. She knew his real name. He tried to speak, but she cut him off. "You were never supposed to find out," Irene said quietly. "I tried to save you from this. But now, it's too late." Aiden stepped back from her. "Why did you help her?" he demanded. Irene's voice trembled. "Because the fire wasn't about killing you." She wiped a tear. "It was about saving us." Aiden stared at her. Confused. Angry. Lust. Saving them from what? Irene took a step closer. Her voice cracked. "Your mother didn't want you dead. For money." Aiden's blood ran cold. Then Irene whispered. "She wanted you dead. Because of your father." Aiden stepped forward. "What about him?" Irene shook her head slowly. "You don't know, do you?" She swallowed hard. "Aiden, your father isn't dead." Aiden's world stopped. The room spun. Irene whispered the truth that destroyed everything he believed. "He's alive. And he's coming." Aiden stood frozen. The file in his hand. The fire report on the table. Irene's trembling voice in the doorway. His father was alive. That made no sense. He'd been told his father died when he was 3. Heart attack. A funeral with no body. A mother who wore black for a year. It was one of the only memories Aiden had of her showing emotion. "You're lying," Aiden whispered. Irene shook her head slowly. "I wish I was." Aiden stepped closer. "Then tell me. Tell me everything." Irene closed the door behind her, locked it. Her hands shook so badly she had to hold her wrists to steady them. Aiden. You don't understand the kind of man your father is. Aiden's jaw tightened. Explain. Irene took a deep breath. Your father, Raylan Vale, didn't die. Miranda faked his death. Because he wasn't just abusive. He was dangerous. Aiden frowned. My mother always said he was kind. Gentle. Irene laughed softly, a broken sound. She lied. Raylan was violent, paranoid, obsessed with power. He believed you were special. Ozen. He tried to force Miranda to raise you the way he wanted. Aiden stared blankly. What does that mean? Irene hesitated. Raylan believed you inherited something from him. A trait, a potential, something he called the gift. He said you were born to continue his legacy. Aiden's voice sharpened. What legacy? Irene looked him directly in the eyes. Crime, extortion, violence, a private network he built across states. Your father wasn't a businessman, Aiden. He was a monster. Aiden swallowed. So why fake his death? Irene stepped closer. Because Miranda wanted out. She wanted to protect you. But Raylan said if she ever left him, he would take you, raise you himself. Aiden felt the air leave his lungs. And the fire, he whispered. Irene nodded slowly. That was Miranda's way of hiding you from him. A child who is dead cannot be taken. Aiden stumbled back. The room spun. Everything inside him twisted. I don't believe you, he said. You will, Irene whispered. Because Raylan isn't dead. He found out you survived. And now he's looking for you. Aiden's heart thudded painfully. What proof do you have? Irene reached into her coat pocket and handed him a small device. A voice recorder. Listen to this, she said. Aiden pressed play. A deep voice crackled through the speaker. Cold. Commanding. I know my son is alive. Miranda failed the job. Find him. Bring him to me. I'll finish what I started. Aiden dropped the recorder. His skin went cold. That's him, Irene said. That's Raylan. He's been hiding for years, waiting. Building power again. Aiden's voice shook. Why tell me now? Irene stepped closer. Because your mother doesn't want to kill you anymore. Beat of silence. Now she wants to protect you from your father. Aiden's breath shook. But she still tried to burn me alive. Irene's eyes filled with tears. She was terrified, Aiden. Terrified of him. Terrified of losing you. Terrified he'd turn you into what he was. Aiden clenched his fists so tight his nails dug into his skin. None of this justifies what she did. Irene nodded. It doesn't. Nothing can. But if Raylan finds you, you'll wish you had stayed dead. The lights in the hallway flickered. Aiden stiffened. Voices approached the door. Heavy footsteps. Security radios crackling. Irene's eyes widened. They're coming. Aiden stepped back. For me. She nodded. Miranda knows someone broke into this room. She ordered lockdown. She thinks you're a threat. And what do you think? Aiden asked. Irene swallowed hard. I think you need to run. Now. She pressed a keycard into his hand. Take the back stairwell. Leave the building. Raylan has people watching the city. Aiden stared at her, stunned. Why are you helping me? Irene's voice broke. Because the night of the fire, I was the second ignition point. Aiden's chest tightened. She whispered. I lit the upstairs fuse. I thought I was protecting you from your father. But I was just helping Miranda destroy you. Aiden's world crashed. He wanted to scream. Wanted to strike out. Wanted to collapse. But there was no time. The door handle twisted. Security voices shouted. Open up. Now. Irene grabbed Aiden's arm. Run. Aiden sprinted to the back stairwell as alarms blared. Heavy boots thundered behind him. He flew down 10 flights of stairs. Burst out the emergency exit. Cold air hit his lungs. He didn't look back. As he disappeared into the night, One truth burned inside him. His mother tried to kill him. His aunt helped. But his father wanted to own him, use him, control him. Now, he was coming. Aiden didn't stop running until he reached the far end of the city. Cold night air burned his lungs. His legs shook. His mind felt like it was cracking open. His father was alive. His mother tried to protect him by killing him. Irene lit the second fuse. Raylan was coming. Everything he believed about his life was a lie. He ducked into an alley, leaning against a brick wall, catching his breath. His phone buzzed. But Aiden answered immediately. "Kid," Rhett said, voice tense. "I saw the alert. Vale Global went into lockdown." "What happened?" Aiden closed his eyes. "They know I was in the ghost room." Silence. Then Rhett whispered. "You need to get out of the city. Tonight." "No," Aiden said. "I need answers." He told Rhett everything. Irene, the evidence, Raylan's voice recording, the truth about the fire. Rhett didn't speak for a long time. Finally he said, "Aiden, your father isn't someone you can run from. He's not a man. He's a storm." Aiden's voice hardened. "I'm not running. Aiden, I'm done running." Before Rhett could argue, a car turned into the alley. Black SUV. Tinted windows. Low. Dangerous. Aiden froze. The SUV stopped. The window rolled down. A man with a scar across his jaw stared directly at him. "Aiden Vale?" he asked. Aiden didn't answer. The man smirked. "Your father wants to see you." Aiden stepped back. "No." The man lifted something. Photograph. Aiden's childhood picture. Him at age 4, smiling with a missing front tooth. "We've been searching for you for years," the man said. "Your father always knew you'd survive the fire." Aiden's skin went cold. The man's voice dropped low. "He said you inherited his strength, his mind, his blood." Aiden gritted his teeth. "I'm nothing like him." The man smiled wider. "That's what he said about you too. But don't worry. He'll fix you." Aiden turned to run. The man raised the barrel of a tranquilizer gun. Aiden ducked behind the dumpster as the dart shot past his head. The alley exploded with shouting. "Grab him!" Aiden sprinted out the other end of the alley. Feet pounding pavement. Heart hammering. SUV doors slammed. Footsteps chased after him. He ran across the street. Cars honked. A dart whizzed past his ear. He dove behind a parked truck. Another SUV screeched around the corner. They were surrounding him. Aiden's mind raced. Think. He spotted a sewer grate. Loose. Perfect. He yanked it up and dropped inside just as flashlights hit the pavement behind him. He landed in knee-deep water. The tunnel smelled awful. The air was cold, but it was the only way out. He ran through the dark tunnels for 20 minutes until he emerged far outside the downtown area. When he reached the surface again, he collapsed beside an abandoned warehouse. His phone buzzed again. But Aiden answered, breath shaking. "They found me." "I know," Rhett said. "I saw the SUVs. You're not safe anywhere near the city." Aiden swallowed. "Rhett, did you know my father was alive?" Silence. Long one. Yes." Aiden's stomach dropped. "You lied to me." "No," Rhett said softly. "I protected you. If you knew he was alive, you would have looked for him. And he would have swallowed you whole." Aiden's voice cracked. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" Rhett sighed heavily. "Because the truth would have killed you before Raylan ever could." Aiden closed his eyes. Everything hurt. His chest. His mind. His past. "Tell me," Aiden whispered. "What kind of man is he?" Rhett's voice changed. Low. Haunted. "Raylan Vale is the smartest liar I've ever met. The cruelest. The most manipulative. He builds people like machines and breaks them when they stop working." Aiden's throat tightened. "And he wants me." Rhett's answer chilled him. "He doesn't want you, Aiden. He wants what you can become." Aiden stood up. "No. I won't be him, Rhett said quietly. Then you need to face your mother. She's the only one who can tell you what he wants. And why he thinks you're the key. Aiden clenched his fists. He knew it was true. Miranda had answers. Answers buried under lies, fire, and guilt. And she was afraid of Raylan too. Aiden took a slow, shaking breath. I'm going to her. Rhett's voice sharpened with fear. Aiden, don't confront her alone. Aiden stepped into the road, eyes burning. I'm not alone anymore. He started walking toward the glowing city skyline. And for the first time in 20 years, Aiden Vale was going home. Aiden reached the old apartment building just after midnight. Cold air bit at his skin, but his mind was hotter than fire. He climbed the steps. Every one felt heavier. The door, he paused. This was where his life restarted at age 5. This was where Miranda built a lie big enough to bury him in. He knocked. Once. The door opened. Miranda stood there in a robe, hair messy, eyes red like she'd been crying for hours. The moment she saw him, she froze. Aiden, she breathed. He stepped inside without waiting for permission. We need to talk. Miranda shut the door slowly. Something happened, she whispered. I felt it. Something with your father. Aiden stared at her. No more lies, he said quietly. Just tell me why. Miranda's jaw trembled. Sit. I'll stand. She swallowed. Aiden, when you were 5. You weren't supposed to survive the fire. Aiden's stomach twisted. You said it, he said. Yes, she whispered. But not to kill you. I swear to God, Aiden, I swear. She grabbed her head, shaking. It was the only way to cut you away from him. From Raylan. Miranda nodded, eyes filling with tears. You don't know what he is, Aiden. He doesn't make children. He designs them. Aiden blinked. What? Miranda sank into a chair, hands trembling. Before you were born, Raylan was experimenting with cognitive conditioning, training programs, sensory manipulation, engineered memory pathways. He wanted a child whose mind worked like his. Aiden stared at her. You're saying he created me? Not biologically, Miranda whispered. You're his blood. But mentally. Aiden, he built you like a prototype. Aiden felt sick. What does that even mean? She looked up at him, hopeless. It means you think like him. Spot patterns he spots. Solve problems like he does. He sees you as the future he never got to finish. Aiden backed away. No. No, I'm not him. Miranda sobbed. That's why I ran. That's why I tried to erase you. Because he didn't want a son, Aiden. She covered her mouth. He wanted a weapon. Silence. Cold. Dark. Unbreathable. Aiden didn't move. Miranda wiped her face, voice cracking. You were meant to replace him. Take over his company, his networks. Everything. Aiden's heart hammered. What does he want now? Miranda's eyes darkened. For you to come home. Because after all these years, the experiment is finally complete. Aiden shook his head violently. I'm not going back. He can't force me. Miranda looked terrified. Aiden, he already is. Footsteps sounded outside. Heavy, low, controlled. Miranda inhaled sharply. No, 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 he found you. Aiden stepped toward the door. It wasn't fear now. It was clarity. The handle turned. The door opened. A tall silhouette filled the doorway. Sharp suit. Cold eyes. A presence like a shadow swallowing light. Raylan Vale. Alive. Real. Breathing the same air as him. He looked at Aiden the way a scientist looked at a finished invention. Deeply. Proudly. Possessively. Aiden, he said softly. My son. Aiden's hands curled into fists. You're not my father. Raylan stepped inside, closing the door behind him. You're right. I'm not your father. He smiled faintly. I'm your creator. Miranda sobbed behind Aiden. Aiden stood tall. I'm no one's creation. Raylan tilted his head, studying him. Brave, he murmured. Defiant. emotionally reactive, just as expected. But you'll outgrow that. Aiden stepped closer, eyes burning. I'm not joining you. Raylan's smile faded. Oh, Aiden, you don't have a choice. Then he said something that cut deeper than anything else. You're becoming me. Aiden's breath caught. Raylan continued calmly. Your memory, your analytical instincts, your ability to see patterns where others see chaos, your hunger for truth. That is me in you. Aiden's heart twisted. He hated how true some of that sounded. But Raylan wasn't done. You came looking for answers, Raylan said. You dug through systems, infiltrated my company, followed my footsteps perfectly. He breathed in slowly. That was your first test. You passed. Aiden's voice broke. I came to destroy you. Raylan stepped even closer. No. He cupped Aiden's face gently, disturbingly gentle. You came to replace me. Aiden slapped his hand away. No. I choose who I become. Raylan's eyes hardened. Choice is an illusion. I shaped you before you could walk. I designed you for this path. Aiden glanced back at Miranda. She was shaking uncontrollably. He'll kill you if he leaves with you, she whispered. He'll break you until you think like him. Raylan didn't deny it. He simply said, the world needs a veil at the top. And my time is ending. Aiden looked him dead in the eyes. Then end alone. For the first time, Raylan's expression cracked. Anger. Real anger. He grabbed Aiden's throat. Precise. Cold. Miranda screamed. Aiden didn't panic. He smiled. You think I didn't prepare for you? Raylan froze. Aiden tapped something in his pocket. A small red light blinked on the table. A recorder. Streaming live. Straight to Rhett. Straight to every encrypted journalist inbox Sky learned to use. Raylan's grip loosened. What did you do? Aiden stepped back, voice deadly calm. I exposed you. Raylan stared at him, breath sharp. He laughed. Chilling. Aiden. You just declared war. Aiden stared back. I was born into it. And for the first time since the fire, Aiden felt free.